आज हामी सदा चाहिँ एनए विकली टक प्रोग्राम लिएर आएका छौँ। स्पिकर प्रोफेसर डाक्टर बुद्धि लम्सार सर हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले चाहिँ आफ्नो प्रेजेन्टेसन बायो प्रोसेसिङ अफ एग्रिकल्चरल फुड को प्रोडक्ट्स फर हायर भ्यालु बायोकेमिकल्स एन्ड बायो प्रोडक्ट्स सम रिसर्च एक्जाम्पल्स भन्ने टपिकमा दिन गइरहनु भएको छ।
Teaching. So, in my research, I really like to utilize these tools and techniques, the learnings that we had in physical, chemical, and biological sciences, right? The principles we learned, I like to utilize for complete and novel uses of agricultural resources. You could even say ag bioresources, especially crops, their components, co-products as well. If you notice, I'm not saying those byproducts or waste products anymore, because they are not. They really are co-products who have value, which have value in them, right? So adding value, creating novel and sustainable processes and products is what I do. I've been doing last 20 years. Some of the tools we use, extraction technologies, thermal, non-thermal technologies, fractionation. For example, your ag resources may have one antioxidant that you'd like to extract. So what is the best way to do that? That's one constituent in a product. So what are the ways to get that specific constituent out, extraction, and you need to do fractionation in that. Enzymes can help you do that as well, and fermentation, extrusion. These are some tools that in my university, they have facilities, and I also have to build a lab, and we do all of that. I'm so sorry, just going back and forth. I'm a little bit confused with this pointer, but that's okay. Broad area of research, again, bioprocessing is one of that, fermentation, enzyme, and things that I work with is proteins, enzyme applications in protein in creating certain ingredients, or for example, probiotic cereal brands that need to be fermented as well. So fermentation has been kind of a big part of my research. And I'm going to share a little bit of this antifreeze protein research that we did in the past. The second line of research we call is plant protein ingredients, like extracting, functionalizing, we call, for example, alternate protein, meat analog, healthy lifestyle, टेवा पुग्ने गरी हामीले promote भइरहेको छ अहिले alternate protein, which really come from plant proteins actually, but they do not have really good functionality to act, to behave like a meat type of product, but we can make them behave like meat type of product. For example, their gelatin properties we call, or textural properties, while you chew on them, अब मुखमा लिएर खाँदाखेरि हामीले चबाउँछौँ, चबाउँदाखेरि त्यसको स्वाद, त्यसको फ्लेभर अनि त्यसको चबाउने एक्सपिरियन्स भन्ने भन्छ नि, त्यो मिट प्रडक्ट जस्तै, एक्चुअल मिट प्रडक्ट जस्तै भयो भने अनि कन्ज्युमरहरूले धेरै फरक थाहा पाउनुहुन्न, अनि उहाँहरूले कन्ज्युमर एक्सेप्टेन्स बढ्दै जान्छ। त्यसको लागि अब ड्राई बिन्स, पी आइसोलेट्सहरूबाट प्रोटिनहरू निकालिएको हुन्छ, एगबाट त अब यो प्लान्ट बेसमा प्रयोग गर्न मिल्दैन, तर तिनीहरूको जिलेसन प्रपर्टिजहरू इज समथिङ द्याट we really look into and try to functionalize in that sense. That's quick ideas. So let's quickly ask some people around here. Anyone, feel free to answer. I'm just putting this picture up here. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? के को picture होला? Just take a guess. हजुर? Dairy farm, okay, dairy farm. Processing one, food processing plant. You guys are very specific already, so you are taking away the fun. So, a processing industry facility, right? तपाईहरुले food भन्नुभयो, non-food products पनि हुन सक्छ त्यहाँ. Maybe petroleum-based products-हरु पनि process भइरहेको होला. We don't know, let's say, right? What comes to your mind, like we just said. So, whatever product is there, be it organic, inorganic, or biological products, right? So a lot of engineering disciplines have gone into making that happen. So अलिकति इन्जिनियरिङ एस्पेक्ट एड गर्न किन खोजेँ भने मैले अब यो एनइएको फोरम हो होइन, अब हामीले इन्जिनियरिङ भन्दाखेरि जुन एटलिस्ट हाम्रो पालामा टप 3 टप 4 टाइप अफ फ्याकल्टिजहरू जुन हुन्थ्यो, कम्प्युटर साइन्स, सिभिल, मेबी इलेक्ट्रिकल, मेकानिकल, 4-5वटा भन्दा त्यति धेरै दिमागमा आउँथेन। तर अब तीमध्ये कतिपय डिसिप्लिनहरू अब यो फ्याक्ट्री बनाउन, रन गर्न सायद प्रयोग भइरहेको होला। क्विक आइडिया, हामीले पढेको इन्जिनियरिङ डिसिप्लिनहरूमध्ये के प्रयोग भएको होला यहाँ? अब फाउन्डेसन बनाउनु पऱ्यो, त्यहाँ सिभिल इन्जिनियरिङ पक्कै छ होइन, सोइल मेकानिक्सदेखि लिएर इलेक्ट्रिकल पक्कै हुनु पऱ्यो। हजुर स्टुडेन्टहरू, AI, computer science, for process control maybe? Okay. So how about the process itself? What is the process here? What may be happening, be it biological, non-biological, so whatever raw material we are taking in, right? You are converting them into some type of end product that you are selling. So that actual, what we call unit operations, like from one step to another step to another step to another step. So from the raw material to the end product, so the product has to move, the product ingredients have to function the way they are supposed to function. So there is a lot of process engineering, manufacturing engineering goes into making of any type of products, be it ag resources, ag food resources, biological, let's say, resources, or non-biological resources. So a lot of engineering involved even in bioprocess engineering, right? So the term bioprocess engineering might be relatively newer. I do not know how many universities here in Nepal they talk about, teach about, or do any research in bioprocess engineering, but there are closely related disciplines to bioprocess engineering, at least some engineering, as I just said, showed also. So a lot of them may have application in bioprocess engineering. So I'm just going to quickly talk a few slides here about bioprocess engineering, just because this is an engineering forum, and then I just want to emphasize this has been coming up and coming, I should say, last 10-15 years. There are several European, American, and even Australian universities designing degree programs around bioprocess engineering or biological engineering in general, okay? So it's better to be aware, right? So it's a manufacturing process utilizing some biological resources, right? The products you create, that can be food, pharmaceuticals or chemicals. So bioprocessing does that, utilizes these living organisms, especially the specialty of processing or bioprocessing engineering is there is at some point going to be some live microorganisms or their components or their products being utilized in the process itself. So when I say live microorganisms, and here we have a friend here from our ISC days again, a professor at TU, professor of microbiology, and she can attest to all of that. So you have these microorganisms, they could be yeast, they could be bacteria. So they can act as certain vector or vessels to bring about the change that we want in the raw material in the process of making of that final bioproducts, biochemicals. They could be anything, right? The simplest example, bioprocess. So हाम्रो day-to-day लाइफमा कस्तो खालको bioprocess processing अथवा conversion do you come across? दही अरू अचार ठिक छ, के भइरहेको छ? दही अचारमा कसरी बायोप्रोसेस भयो? त्यो फर्मेन्टेसन भयो, गुड। फर्मेन्टेसन अब हामी आफैले इनोकुलेट भन्छ, हामी आफैले केही माइक्रो अर्गानिजमलाई पनि त्यहाँ पठाएर फर्मेन्ट गर्न सक्छौँ, तर जनरली यो नेचुरल फर्मेन्टेसन, राइट? वाट एभर माइक्रो अर्गानिजम्स आर around us, they can do the job as well. So a lot of vaccines they produce. Very recently we had to unfortunately undergo COVID pandemic, right? कोभिडको भ्याक्सिनहरू पनि प्रोड्युस भयो। लार्ज स्केलमा कसरी प्रोड्युस भयो त भन्दाखेरि यो माइक्रो अर्गानिजमहरूमा सर्टेन जेनेटिक मोडिफिकेसन गरेर त्यसको अर्को एस्पेक्ट पनि छ कि अब कतिपय मान्छेहरूले त्यसरी जेनेटिकली मोडिफाई गरेको प्रडक्ट र प्रोड्युसेसहरू हाम्रो शरीरको लागि सुटेबल छैन अथवा हुन सक्दैन हुँदैन भनेर भ्याक्सिन लिने काम पनि गर्दैनन् धेरैले अथवा कतिले। अब युएसमै पनि छ त्यो कुराहरू, त्यो आफ्नो ठाउँमा छ। तर प्रोडक्सन गर्ने जुन छ, जुन हाम्रो माइक्रो अर्गानिजमहरूलाई सर्टन जेनेटिक मोडिफिकेसनहरू गराएर हामीलाई चाहिने भ्याक्सिनहरू, अल्टिमेटली भ्याक्सिन्स आर नथिङ बट बायोमोलिक्युल्स, राइट? देयर आर सम मोलिक्युल्स द्याट हेल्प अस overcome certain difficulties, diseases and all that, right? So microorganism, whether they are natural, just like let's say dahi athava yogurt athava acharharu banaउँदा natural microorganism होस्, अथवा cheese, right there cheese too, or recombinant we call, right? We modify their genetic makeup such that they do the job that we want, not the job that they want, okay? So we want them to do or produce certain vaccine type or drug or protein, whatever it is. Once you modify that genetic makeup, now you have this prototype. Now you need to grow that microorganism like crazy. So you have to feed them. So grown in suitable media means you have to figure out what media, what food they like, what nutrients they like. They are the living organisms, right? So you want to grow them all and then very fast and produce the chemical that you are after, right? So that process is biomanufacturing process, right? That's what our bioprocessing itself. So I think couple slide is just trying to emphasize that point around here, right? So some example I gave, and chemicals as well, chemical. Previously, most of the chemicals, they have been produced with organic type of petroleum-derived substrates, but there are a lot of products that are chemicals that can be produced using biological resources as well, that can do very, very much similar job. One example is bioethanol, right? Ethanol, nothing but Roxy, alcohol. 100% alcohol you can burn, you can make the a car run on the alcohol, right? So in the US, 10% 10% alcohol is added into the petroleum. अब नेपालमा के छ थाहा भएन, यहाँको अल्कोहल हालिन्छ कि हालिँदैन थाहा छैन, तर त्यो अल्कोहल बनाउने प्रोसेस पनि केबाट हो भने अल्टिमेटली मकै cornहरू लिन्छ अथवा any starchy product. Starch is broken down into alcohol by the yeast. That's the process. How it is made happen is by manufacturing, bioengineering, bioprocess engineering. Because I showed you the picture up there. You need all those, lot of disciplines of engineering to come together to make that happen. I can just say, oh, the starch is broken down into glucose. That glucose is taken by yeast to produce alcohol. That's the very simplest thing. But to make that happen, you need millions of dollars in investment for all that process to happen, right? So that's what it is. The engineering of that, a lot of disciplines are involved. The actual process itself, the microorganisms, what microorganism does what, because they are so specific. Microorganisms are, that's one good thing about enzymes and microorganisms. They do what they are supposed to do, nothing else. Now, bioprocess engineers, if and when, let's say, this discipline develops around here as well, they design and develop these processes to produce these biological products, chemicals, materials, whatever. They optimize and improve the efficiency just like any other process engineers. They conduct the research in new products and methods. They ensure the compliance in test methods and regulations and whatnot. So I'm just kind of putting some good words about bioprocess engineers because this may be something new that not many of us hear about every day, right? We hear maybe 2, 3, 4 big engineering branches, but bioprocess engineering, our engineers do very much similar things that, let's say, a chemical engineer does, a manufacturing or process engineer does. So there are a lot of things they can do, and again, in many areas, waste management, biotechnology, agriculture, we have some students here as well. So Again, it's a multidisciplinary enterprise, and the cartoon, the picture that I'm showing in the side, is really something I also am pursuing. What it shows really is, in the middle, we have this cell engineering and downstream processing. That downstream processing means once you make the microorganism genetically modified to produce what you want it to produce, then the actual production process begins, and the separation process, that's what is downstream, separation and isolation. And then there is a biochemistry as well of the product, biological product, because you need to characterize, you need to know what product it is. If it is protein, what is the makeup of the protein? What is the biological or structural molecular nature of that protein? Why it does what it is doing? And if you know, that function might be lost if the structure is slightly altered, so you would like to preserve all that structure as well. But again, this whole process, that discipline of bioprocessing or biomanufacturing, it does involve, we can produce a lot of nature-like biochemicals, but it does involve social feedback as well. As I just said earlier, that genetically modified, that organism as well as the products still have to undergo some rigorous testing and public acceptance as well. People may not like it ultimately, or they may fear it. Oh, what if this thing is bad for my health? Because what we are trying to create here is some nature-like or nature mimetics, let's say. And I'm showing one example in one of my research. So again, public perception matters in this bioprocessing engineering in what they do. All right, I think I'll skip this. So the closer some of these disciplines, especially who are doing bioprocessing currently, in the absence of actual degree in bioprocess engineering or bioprocessing. So chemical engineers have taken up the job. Biological engineers also, there are some cell engineering or biological engineering, process engineering, food and ag engineers like me. I'm basically ag engineer, but ultimately my research has taken me towards bioprocess engineering. Mechanical engineers, they do process sizing, equipment sizing, and the fluid flow and whatnot. They do all of that. So I just wanted to add this slide here. I spent a little bit of time. So which all universities, and this is not extensive list actually, so it's just some list which I come across. So there are some undergraduate degrees, graduate degrees more so, but undergraduate also, UIUC, like Urbana-Champaign, University of Illinois, SUNY in Syracuse, they do have biological Bachelor in Bioprocess Engineering or Bioprocess Engineering and Industrial Biotechnology. So biotechnology is sort of added there. Florida and FAMU has Biosystems Engineering Department with Bioprocess and Food Engineering options. So either you have bioprocess as an option. Option means either minoring, meaning 12 to 14 credits if you take. You can have a minor credit or an option. So there are some graduate programs as well around the world in the US. But the thing is, the processing of the material using various biological methods will be around. So degrees are created to cater towards that sort of need. So that's what, especially the students, if people are watching, might want to take note of that, okay? So I don't know how much time I got, so quick, 5-7 minutes, I'll show one example wherein, when I say we, this is a research team, and also the first author here, Vivek Banjo, he was my PhD student. I got him from Kathmandu University as well, from one of these labs. So he was good in biotechnology. His background was in biotechnology. So I need to find students who are good in biotechnology, biochemistry, some engineering aspect I can look into myself, but food chemistry. So a diverse discipline in my group that I have to bring in. Thomas Mansell is the professor who sort of genetically modified this Lactococcus microorganism that we utilize, and that part of the job was done in his lab and in my lab as well. So we just published last year. So you mentioned quickly about fermentation. So what fermentation means to us, to bioprocess engineers? So ultimately, during the process of fermentation, you have some substance that breaks down into something else, some simpler substance, let's say. And I gave an example of starch being broken into an alcohol, produced into an alcohol. But before alcohol is produced, the starch needs to break down into sugar, glucose, okay? So starch is nothing but a big bunch of maybe hundreds of thousands of glucose units coming together. So you need to create glucose using some enzymes. You need to produce alcohol, use some yeast, which is MRSA, right? Part of MRSA. So that's fermentation. As simple as it sounds, it is not that simple. As you can see, microorganisms, that black line over there, and pointer, I cannot point in the screen. Let's see if I can. Sometime I can do some pointers, laser pointer. Okay. So this black line is nothing but number of cells per mil, the microorganisms that you are growing. Let's say in this example, this could be the yeast that are growing in glucose or the sugar. The one blue line here is sugars, which is falling down over time, with time. The other blue line is ethanol, which is nothing but some type of methanol. In this example, this could be ethanol, an alcohol being produced. So it's going up. At some point, it will sort of flat out because the microorganisms have consumed all of the sugars now, right? So that's how it goes. That's why the black line in here you can see it grows very quickly. We call exponential phase, very quickly. And then it sort of flattens, plateau. It's a stationary phase, and later on they die. The cells start to die because there is no food remaining. So when we see this type of graphs, engineers need to think, how can we quickly make up with this time? Because this time, if you can make it happen very quickly, the productivity is higher, right? So how do we make the yeast grow very quickly? What is the temperature dependency of the yeast? What is the pH dependency? What other micronutrients they need to grow them? Because in that exponential growth, if they grow very quickly, exponentially is multiplying exponentially, right? Very quickly. So if they grow very quickly, they can produce alcohol likewise, right? So the control there is going to be, let's say, temperature, pH, aeration, how much oxygen they need, if so, or amount of enzymes or microbial loadings, media formulation. Is sugar alone sufficient, or what else do they need? And how do we supply all of that as the continuous process is going on? So that all is thought about or planned by process engineers, be they chemical engineers or food engineers or whoever the engineering aspect they are doing. And these are done in big vessels called bioreactors, and that's what we do. Coming back though, in my lab, we do all these in a very small scales, in millimeter level scales, and in this particular research example, what we did was this steep liquor we call corn steep liquor in Iowa. If you know about Iowa, we are the #1 producer of corn, makai, right? Or soybean, depending on, like they alternate each year. यस वर्ष मकै लगायो भने त्यो प्लटमा अर्को साल अब त्यो सोइल रिकम्बिनेसनको लागि अर्को साल सोयाबिन लगाइन्छ. तर भन्न खोजेको lot of biofuel is produced using corn starch. But in this example, this corn steep liquor is produced when you want to, what we call wet grinding or wet milling of corn to actually produce the starch as a powder, as some food ingredients. You can resolubilize and further, like produce whiskey or other type of alcohol from that. But you can have food uses, lots of food uses, thickening, like adhesives. So many uses they have, like sauces, sauce, I'm talking about thickening agents, they are used. So in the process of doing that, the corn needs to be soaked first because it's so hard, right? The moisture content is around 10% or less, but you need to soak it for 2 days at around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius at the water ratio of 1 to 4. So that's, let's say, 1 kilo of corn, and then you have 4 kilo of water you have to fill in. I'm just telling kilos, but millions of kilograms of or pounds of corns are processed in Iowa. So millions of metric tons of liters are produced of these liquors, which really do not have much use, and they are only 6 to, at the max, 10% solid there. The rest of is water only. They have to evaporate all of that water from 10% solid to 35, 45% solid, and add it back to the fiber we call this pericarp of the grain at the outside. All for what? To use that as animal feed. चोकर की भुस भनिन्छ नि हामीले त्यो भुसमा गएर एड गर्ने हो अल्टिमेटली भुस त सायद राइसको होला यसमा चाहिँ जुन पेरिकार्ड्स अन्त बाहिरको फाइबरहरू निक्लिन्छ स्टार्चहरू सेपरेट गर्ने क्रममा फाइबरहरू एकातिर आउँछ त्यो अल्टिमेटली गएर सुँगुरहरू चिकनहरू अथवा वाट एभर पोल्ट्री क्याटल दे हेभ टु इट राइट दे विल इट low value, very, very low value. You are spending so much energy in evaporation from 10% to 35%, and all you are doing is feeding to the animal. So that's not very high value use of this sort of good biological co-products, corn stiff liquor. It has 6 to 10% solids in them. And of those, there are good amount of soluble proteins, there are good amount of carbohydrates, minerals in that liquor. So what we thought was we could use this as a media to grow certain genetically modified microorganism which might produce this particular protein, antifreeze protein. So what is antifreeze protein? And some food engineering or food processing also comes into this. Antifreeze protein, as name suggests, the protein lowers the freezing point or prevents totally from freezing. So some polar fishes, or as you given here one example of some type of pout, I think it's a polar fish. In the northern polar or southern poles, these animals do not freeze to their death. They do not, right? They are just still alive. Why their blood is not freezing there? Because they have certain protein that prevents or lowers the freezing point such that the blood remains like what? Liquid. So, but problem is if you want to use these antifreeze proteins that the fishes have or other microorganisms may have, so you have to sort of kill so much of fishes to gather, to extract small amount of protein. These proteins are not in big amount in their blood, they are only in a small amount, but they do their job. But so my point here is naturally extracting or collection of this type of functional proteins, in this example, this antifreeze protein is not feasible because of the scale of operations. So this particular protein, what it does, it can control the growth of the ice crystals in the food. And it has some examples or applications in, for example, you can eat ice creams. You have some pizza applications which are frozen, and if you have ice crystals in them, because you'll have, ice cream is ice, right? There is a crystals there, but the size of the crystal, if it is too big, it will hit on, like while eating, you will not feel good on your mouth because it feels like as if you are eating some sand, okay? So you want to control the growth of those ice crystals if they are formed. First of all, they prevent from forming, and when they are formed, they prevent from growing the size of the crystal. So they are functional proteins. They have good uses in food applications. So the idea here was, can we use some microorganisms to produce these proteins and we'll use this corn stiff liquor, which is a waste product or very low value product, in growing the microorganisms. So this part of the research was done in my collaborators' lab, the genetic manipulations that they did, and we have reported a little bit in detail in our publication. But all I say is, all they verified, let's say, using ELISA and other techniques, that AFP3 is antifreeze protein type 3, that presence of that molecule was verified in the lab when they genetically inserted some gene from the spouts, okay, pout rather, ocean pouts. Their genes were inserted in this microorganism, Lactococcus, and then they verified that they were producing those proteins in these ELISA type of assays. So just they gave, okay, take these microorganisms, now they are producing antifreeze proteins. So my job now is more into bioprocessing, the cultivation, the fermentation aspect of it. So we have to grow in corn stiff liquor. There are not only sugars, and sugars could also be complex sugars, not just glucose alone. So you need to either supplement, you need to do some modifications of that media. So that's why we added some additives, stress elements and whatnot. We did monitor the growth of microorganisms up to 72 hours in sec flasks. And we characterize later on using some freezing experiments. And again, if people want some details, let me know. I can share our example pictures. Again, the take-home message, whatever you see here, the lower, the yellow line there is the control, no additives there, but once you added additives of various kinds, the corn stiff liquor was as good as what we call this M17 or that commercial standard media. So for wild type it happened that way, but recombinant, the growth was much better than control, but not as good as the standard media M17. But still, we did see good growth, corn stiff liquor supporting the growth of microorganism. We sort of verified that in slightly bigger scale, 250 mil. The earlier was, we are doing in 1 mil type of scale in 96 well plates experiments. Here we are doing 250 mil. In the log CFU, as you can see, these are the numbers of log numbers of microorganisms that we actually counted using plate countings, and you could see up to 1 trillion cells were available, growing there after like by 24 hours or so. So let me not go in all the details. The microorganisms were supported very well. This what we call doubling time and specific growth rates and whatnot were calculated using from those graphs. And what we have found, wild types, which did not produce the protein though, they were, as well as the recombinant, their growth was good. The slightly, in media, that corn stiff media, the recombinant strain, it was slightly lower, but still there was a production of protein there. And we are just monitoring various characteristics. But what we want to show this particular freezing experiment here is, so at the end of the fermentation, we did the centrifugation. We took the, what we call the supernatant, the liquid, which has the protein in there, okay, because it was verified earlier, the antifreeze protein was there. So we just try to freeze that sample and see what happens, because if the antifreeze protein is there, the freezing temperature would depress. As you could see here, the dashed line, the blue dashed line, one was for control and others were for, one was for distilled water. I'm finishing. Yes, I'm just finishing. So my point here is, it depressed the freezing point by about 10 degrees Celsius, okay? And the supercooling time by about 18 minutes. It delayed the onset of freezing, and the temperature was delayed by, reduced by at least 10 degrees. So the point here is, you can produce this type of functional proteins utilizing some co-products, but then you have to do some genetic insertion, deletion, manipulation. So you have to produce recombinant microorganisms in that. So I think this is my last slide. I just wanted to put some question out here. What do you see as outlook? And I think we are just closing on time. You can think later on as well. So how is it taking off, especially if there are people in the audience who are involved in bioprocessing related research? I'll really be happy to hear from them. What sort of industries do they take or are related here in terms of bioprocessing? And how can we as engineers can contribute towards the bioprocessing as a discipline? So that's my last slide, and these are some questions for us to talk about.
Yeah, thank you. You can sit down here. You can take some rest.
No problem.
Thank you. Maybe because there is a second session also about to start, so I will just ask some few questions. Very few questions. Yeah, please.
Thank you. What is the environmental footprint of having to go through GMMs? And because we already have suffered having to utilize the corn, that's GMO corn here in Nepal, and the farmers have suffered a great deal. And the second question is how, we live, there are 500 small landholding farmers in this universe, and I think you also was brought up in that particular scenario. How would your research be beneficial to these 500 million farmers, much of which also are represented in Nepal? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's very thoughtful questions, and that require really not any off-the-cuff, like answers that I might be able to give you right now. I think, let me come to the second question first, how my research might benefit to these smallholder farmers. Well, ultimately what I see here is the farming is more like a production process, and once you produce, there might be some mechanisms for getting your prices through government or through open market, however you do. But once you sell your product, it's not going to benefit you anymore. It's going to benefit either the middlemen or the processors in between. So my research, if you really want to ask me, it will benefit more the processors in the middle, not the growers per se. Because what I'm trying to do in this research is trying to utilize the waste products into something of higher value, which the farmer may never see. Okay, so that's the direct answer to you. That also reminds me that I sometimes try to do some research that will directly benefit, but that goes into production. My specialty is more into post-harvest technology. Once production is done, then how are you going to do? The implication of genetically modifying the microorganisms. That's the first question you had. So that's another thing that really we need to reconsider. In that sense, in the evolution of human, let's say, lives, genetically modified technologies are not even, let's say, 100 years old, maybe 200 years old, let's wildly saying. So how are they impacting our lifespan over the generation? Several generations is not known. Because there is now not much enough time in our lifetime to evaluate that sort of impact, right? Industrially, it has benefited even farmers. People can produce drought tolerant, climate tolerant, and whatnot, a nutrient stressed type of seed you can produce and have great productivity. How is it going to impact ultimately the earth, the human beings, and whatnot? This is all open question, and it's all beyond me.
I would like to request our Deputy Director General of Department of Agriculture, to give Nepalese context and end things. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhim sir. Thank you, Dr. Lamsal sir and Bhim sir and NEA for organizing these very important events. म नेपालीमै भन्छु धेरै खुसी लाग्यो म पनि बायो रिसर्च इन्जिनियरिङको मास्टर्स हो म्याकगिलबाट मलाई पनि अलिकति त्यताको स्टडीको अलिकति हुन त म गभर्नमेन्ट सिस्टममा छु अहिले यो एक्सटेन्सन पार्टमा छौँ अब हामी नेपालमा अहिले के छ भने रिसर्च एजुकेसन एन्ड एक्सटेन्सनको अलिकति केही त हाम्रो कामहरू भएको छ कोअर्डिनेसन काम तर पनि जुन लेभलमा हुनुपर्ने त भइरहेको छैन यस्तो फाइन्डिङहरू जस्तै काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटीले गरिरहेछ नेपाल एग्रिकल्चर रिसर्च काउन्सिलले पनि केही गरिरहेको हुन्छ जस्तो त्यसमा चाहिँ इन्जिनियरिङ डिभिजन छ एग्रिकल्चर इन्जिनियरिङ डिभिजन छ हामी कसरी कोअर्डिनेसन गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरा महत्त्वपूर्ण देख्दछु मैले यहाँहरूले रिसर्च पार्टमा गर्नुभएको छ एक्सटेन्सनमा हामी छौँ रिसर्च भनौँ न एजुकेसनमा युनिभर्सिटी हुनुहुन्छ भने यसलाई अलिकति सरको लेभलबाट हामी सँगै फेरि पनि बस्न सकिन्छ सरको बसाइ कति छ यहाँ सँगै बस्न पनि सकिन्छ हामी मिनिस्ट्री लेभलमा पनि सचिवहरूसँग बस्न सकिन्छ वास्तवमा ज्यादै महत्त्वपूर्ण विषय प्रेजेन्ट गर्नुभएको छ सरलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद र अब युनिभर्सिटीको प्रोफेसरहरू हुनुहुन्छ एनइएको इन्जिनियर सरहरू हुनुहुन्छ वास्तवमा यस्ता विषयहरूलाई अहिलेको अवस्थामा क्लाइमेट चेन्जदेखि लिएर अब यो हामी त एग्रिकल्चरमा के छ भने यो विषादीहरूको व्यापक प्रयोगले गर्दाखेरि हाम्रो डे टु डे लाइफमा धेरै हेम्पर गरिरहेछ हामी अब अलिअलि टेस्टिङ सेन्टरहरू पनि छ विषादी त्यही पनि त्यसलाई हामीले अलि इलाबोरेट गर्न नसकेको अवस्थामा पनि छ हाम्रो डे टु डे हेल्थमा नै साह्रै नै नकारात्मक असरहरू परेको अवस्थामा हामी छौँ वास्तवमा दिनानुदिन हाम्रो मेडिकल लेभलमा पनि डक्टरहरू हामीलाई चाहिने हामी भिजिट गर्नुपर्ने धेरै यो हाम्रो यो आनी बानी भनौँ रहन सहन खानपान भनौँ न यसले पनि धेरै हेम्पर गरिरहेको छ वास्तवमा रिनाउन युनिभर्सिटीबाट आएर सरले जुन हामीलाई दिनुभएको छ हामी यस्तो कुराहरूलाई अझ बढी घनीभूत रूपमा अरू पनि कसरी हामी टचमा रहन सकिन्छ त्यसमा म अनुरोध गर्दछु सरले घडी हेर्नुभएको छ मलाई दुई चार शब्द राख्ने मौका दिनुभयो हुन त म अब अलिकति एकाडेमिक थिएँ तर पनि यो एक्सटेन्सनमा गएपछि अलिकति एकाडेमिकली म अलि विक भइरहेको छ आफैलाई फिल भइरहेको हुन्छ त्यही पनि यो इम्पोर्टेन्ट अपर्च्युनिटी दिनुभयो र सरलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद धेरै इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरामा हामीलाई उजागर गरिदिनु भएको छ र प्रोफेसर बिम जो एकदम एक्टिभली लागिरहनु भएको छ युनिभर्सिटी साइडबाट गभर्मेन्टसँग कसरी गर्न सकिन्छ हामी यहाँहरूसँग सँगै काम गर्न तयार छौँ भन्दै यो सानो मेरो भनाइ अन्त्य गर्दछु हस् धन्यवाद थ्याङ्क यू
त्यो विषयमा बायो प्रोसेसिङ कुरा गर्दा अब हाम्रो जस्तो देशमा चाहिँ यो एग्री फुडको प्रोडक्टको जुन यो बायो प्रोसेसिङ कुरा छ यसमा लाग्छ हाम्रो देशमा अलिकति यो अलिक सान्दर्भिक नै छ कि जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई किनभने हामीसँग जस्तो एग्रिकल्चर प्रोडक्टहरू हाम्रो तपाईँको लास्ट एउटा न्युज पनि सुनेको सायद पाल्पामा यो सरसोको तेललाई चाहिँ त्यसलाई प्रोसेसिङ गरेर त्यसलाई फ्युल बनाएको भन्ने कुरा सुनेको थिएँ हो यस्तो कुराहरूले गर्दा भोलिको दिनमा हाम्रो देशमा चाहिँ इको फ्रेन्डली इन्भाइरोमेन्टको लागि चाहिँ राम्रो हुने खालको र सस्टेनेबल डेभलपमेन्टको लागि चाहिँ यो बायो प्रोसेसिङ यस्तो कुराहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो देशमा चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ र त्यसको लागि सरहरूले चाहिँ हेल्प गरिदिनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ